add to the stream. There we go. We're live.
Woo!
Woohoo! Hello. Welcome. We are super excited because we are going to have a special guest on today. And I'm excited about having her on. How about you, Jamie? You excited?
I'm excited.
She's really, really amazing. I'm going to wait till she joins our live here, and then I'm going to do an intro of her. We've changed the format just a little bit just because we're learning some things. We're figuring some things out. So we were going live for a minute on TikTok at the same time. Instead, we're going to go on to TikTok afterwards. So, oh, I didn't save that. Okay, so we're going to go live on TikTok. I'll give you our TikTok things in a moment. Jamie, tell us about spinning that wheel.
What you do is you pull down on one side and it's balanced so that it turns.
And then what happens?
Well, where it stops, somebody can win a prize. It's an actual prize, a physical prize. We'll post it to you in the mail as opposed to a, hey, look, you won unicorn kisses, which are awesome, yet, you really can't cash them in for something. So this was a knee brace. It ended on the knee brace. There's a curling iron on one side and a mood light. Diffuser on mood light diffuser.
Awesome.
So we have all these gifts, presents that are given to us by different sponsors that want us to give them away to you, and you have a chance of winning them. So that's how this works. So
real quick, I screwed up on my haircut, my coronavirus haircut here, and so I cut my own hair, and yeah, I cut it too short. So hi, Ashley, welcome. Hi, Tracy, welcome.
Hi, Ashley. Hi, Tracy.
We have the most amazing Josevie Jackson joining us. I'm gonna have her join us.
No, really?
Yeah, really? Yeah, let me introduce her.
Josevie?
She's a big deal. Actually, it was really funny. I'll tell that story when she's on.
Correctly.
I have so many fun stories about Josevie because we've traveled all over the world.
She is an amazing, how some people are really, really good at one thing, and then some people are really good at another thing, and then some people are just really good at anything. That's Josevie.
That's a good way to describe her.
It's like, oh, blah, blah, blah. Oh, yeah, I know someone. Oh, it's the same person who does that really well. Oh, and is excellent at that. Oh, and also is a talented singer. Oh, and is an independent entrepreneur. Oh, and is an author. Oh, and is a maker. Pick your lane. No one can pass.
That's funny. All right. So, Josevie, when it comes to entrepreneurial success, Josevie Jackson knows what she's talking about. She's a great entrepreneur. She started her very first business at age 20, eventually becoming a serial entrepreneur with several streams of income.
So when you see her, you go, oh, you've only been doing this for 3 years. You started at 20.
She does look young.
She's got that beautiful skin.
Yeah, she does. So Josevie is a multi-million-dollar producer. I can vouch for that because her and I have sold millions together. Selling millions in products in the last 4 years alone, and has received various awards throughout the years. I would say that Josevie and I probably sold together, and we were in different, selling different things, but just in the small time, probably at least $2 million that we sold together in 1 year. But during the time working in corporate America, she managed well over 750 employees. Certainly, her role as an innovator and leader is undeniable, and that is true. Josevie's also the author of Thrive and Be Somebody, 11 Steps to Maneuver Life's Obstacles with Confidence. Go ahead.
Well, don't know if I should put this out this, but getting high effectively in the workplace. And what I mean is that she worked for an airlines. So in quality control.
Yes, she did.
I don't know what you were thinking, but you were wrong. Wrong.
So she enjoys using her experiences and expert strategies to make a positive and lasting impact on the lives of others. She's very good at transformation. And as an international business coach and speaker, Josevie is greatly driven by her passion to help others succeed in life. And this she does. And currently she speaks all over the world to audiences as large as 2,000 people. She enjoys being a world traveler.
And she speaks more than one language.
She does?
Yeah.
What's the other language?
Oh, she speaks mother.
Yeah, she's got a look that can stop Jamie in his tracks, and it's the only person I've seen be able to do that.
It's like, yes, Mom.
Yeah, so she currently lives in Arizona with her beautiful husband. He's amazing. Ben is a great guy. And she's
Gentle Ben.
Gentle Ben, and she's the mother to 6 children and multiple grandkids. So everybody, give a big round of applause to Josevie Jackson.
A round of applause goes to you guys for just staying funny and keeping me in stitches all the time.
So I'm going to
when you started talking about stories, I got scared.
Oh, we have some stories. We do have some stories.
I remember one time we were at an airport after just finishing a huge event, and we were sharing stories. And the next minute, you realized that your plane left hours earlier than everyone else's plane, and you're like, "I gotta go!"
She missed her flight. She missed her flight. She was so mad.
Talking to you guys.
Yeah.
Like, who does that?
You did that. I've done it. I've made some mistakes at airports. I've actually fallen asleep at the gate, and then just like no one even thought to be like, hey, your plane is leaving. I was literally like right in front of the counter.
Oh.
Like, you know.
So that's happened to me too.
Yeah. Well, you know, you get tired when you're traveling like that.
Absolutely.
When you give so much for, say, 1,000 people in a room for 3 days straight, when it's done, you're like,
oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
That's where airport.
Well, I wanted to say thank you guys for giving me this opportunity to be on your show. I absolutely love what you guys are doing, because not only are you giving really good information and really good prizes, and I think I was probably one of the first recipients because I got a blow dryer. Hello, look at my hair.
Hey, how do you like that blow dryer?
I love that blow dryer. It does my hair like this. Like,
I know, it's one of the best. It's a best blow dryer. It makes a total difference. Yeah.
Yep. I love it.
Yeah.
But you guys are also doing it in a way that's funny. I mean, you keep us all laughing, and that's just the way to go. Keep it entertaining. We're infotainers, as I heard. Infotainers.
Exactly. Infotainers or edutainers is another way.
There you go. Yeah. I like that too.
You know, and imagine if they taught this way in schools, how much different and how engaged our kids would be. And I think, you know, one of the good things that's coming out of COVID is that they're going to have to learn to be that way to keep their attention live, right?
Yep, exactly. Absolutely. So Jamie's always doing something.
I know.
I don't know how you deal with him, Amy.
I don't either. You know how many times this woman right here has looked at me and said, "You married him." A lot.
But I love him. He's a great guy.
I know. And you guys work together too. Sometimes I wasn't on the
very first time I did an event with the company that Josevie was.
Wait, was that when I lost my wallet?
Yes.
No, that was the second one.
Oh.
That was the very first one we were in San Diego. The second one we were in Colorado. Yeah.
How do you remember that?
There was a lot of things to remember. My therapist said I should let go of it. But, you know, I'm still working through.
That was hilarious. We were working with Barry.
We were.
Oh,
yes. I don't think I've ever laughed so loud. I mean, I thought I was gonna pee on myself. I was like,
whispering on a feed doesn't mean people don't hear it.
Well, we could talk all day.
And
I know
recorded.
We could talk all day, but you know what? I would really love to hear about your book.
Yes.
Tell us about
the book.
Thrive and Be Simple.
I should have given you I should have put the cover up here.
Oh.
Should have.
Okay. But what I do want to share about my book, I'm super excited because it's finally coming out. And I actually have 2 books coming out at the same time. So look out for and I have a 3rd one in the making. So, and I have a children's book. I know. Thank God for COVID. You didn't hear me say that.
Well, Yeah.
No, it's taking advantage of the situation you find yourself in. And that's the entrepreneur and the powerful mindset. This is what's happening. What can I do to move forward? As opposed to, oh, poor me, look what happened to me. It's like, no.
I think we all started out with the oh, poor me kind of feeling. But then, you just have to realize there's always a silver lining in every situation. And you just got to look for it and find it. So that's part of what I write about in my book. No coincidence that it's maneuvering life's obstacles with confidence. Definitely, we are all experiencing a big, huge, like this hasn't happened in over 100 years, obstacle.
Yeah.
And so it's taken people back, and it's caused different types of problems that most people haven't had to experience. I mean, most people haven't had to experience the loneliness of being in quarantine. Like if you live alone, just imagine.
I do.
I leave him alone a lot.
Lock the door.
I bet you do.
The door's locked. More than one.
Yeah, I bet you do, Amy. But part of the problem is that when we approach problems, what I did was I named the book Maneuvering Life's Obstacles instead of Conquering Life's Obstacles, because everybody thinks that you just have to fight. Everything is just a fight. You got to get those obstacles and you just got to beat them down, right? But that's not really what it's all about. I mean, think about it. You're constantly in fight mode. You're stressing yourself out all the time.
Exactly. That's why
you're seeing objection as an attack, as opposed to that just can't happen when you're in fight mode. In the maneuver mode, you do.
Which I love, because I love that. I love that, Josevie. And the reason is because that's one of the things that we do with sales Tai Chi. It's all about taking whatever energy is coming and having it flow in the direction that it needs to go. If that is that's in the direction of a sale, great. But maybe it's not. Because you know what it's like when you put somebody into a crappy deal that they shouldn't be in. They're just going to cancel. You
regret it.
You regret it and they regret it and it stresses you out, right? And so you're conquering instead of maneuvering that.
Yep.
And so maneuvering, I like that word. It's a good word.
Yep. And it does encompass flow. Like when you're maneuvering, you're flowing. There's no struggle. When you're fighting, there's a struggle. I mean, think about it. If you were thrown in the ocean and you started struggling, what's going to happen?
You're going to drown.
You get thrown in the ocean and you just float, then you start flowing. You float.
Right.
You can live, you can survive, and it's just easier. I mean, as long as you don't get bitten by a shark like Jamie would if he was in the ocean.
It was one shark. It was a rare situation. It was a mistaken identity. The shark thought I was someone else, and we've dealt with it.
Well, they're only going to bite you once because they don't like you. They're going to spit you out.
Yeah, but that's a good bite. I was scuba diving, and the shark was bigger than the boat we all came out there on. It was enormous. Out at Byron Bay, Gillian Rock's Byron Bay, National Reserve, one of the best scuba diving locations in the world.
I swam with sharks in Hawaii.
I wish they would sponsor us. We're off the Byron.
I swam with sharks in Hawaii, and this one tiger shark, she was probably...
How do you know it was a she?
Well, because the guy identified her. The guy was a shark expert
really?
on the boat that went out with us. Yeah. And he was like petting her on the nose, and I'm like, oh!
You know those tourist guides make stuff up.
She was like...
I train them in improv. Oh, yeah, no, that's the shit. You can tell by
it's a big fish. There's a shark right there, guys.
Yeah.
Giving you your money's worth.
She was like 15 feet, and she was huge. Oh. Yeah. We were in plexiglass tanks, so we were, but it looked like there was nothing between us and the shark. So when she came up to me, I was like literally like pushing myself back in the water, like she looks like she could come through that. I don't know.
And the poor shark's like going, oh, they wrapped it again. Oh, I took it into the meal. Where's the zipper on this wrapping?
Yeah.
Anyway, look,
it's okay. I love.
Who will benefit the most from your book?
Who will benefit the most? I would say entrepreneurs who are struggling and people who want to be an entrepreneur, who are just struggling because you just can't figure out what to do next, where to go. Huh?
For those people who haven't come across the phraseology of entrepreneur, the reason I ask this is because there's a lot of people who actually are entrepreneurs, but they don't realize it. And they're in a struggle without committing to or acknowledging that within themselves for their own life. So what is an entrepreneur from your understanding, from your basis?
Anybody who started any business. If you sell anything, you're an entrepreneur. Yep. Even if you are in customer service, you're still selling something. You're an entrepreneur.
What are you selling in customer service? What are you selling? I've met someone.
You answered that question.
It's amazing. You can just find them peddling their wares out on the street, or wearing their pedals if they work for a bike shop,
or if they live in Amsterdam.
Oh.
Well, I've been.
Clogging.
It was so funny. My parents took me to Amsterdam when I was like 7 years old.
Wasted trip.
Total wasted trip. And we're walking down the red light district, and I said to my dad, I go, I don't know what's going on here, but I think it has something to do with sex.
At 7?
7 or 8.
And I was still 17 going, I'm not sure what's going on here.
Well,
I think it has something to do with sex.
There was naked women in the
windows. Yeah.
They could have just been
the whole time. So I'm in my 50s. I went in my 50s and was like this the whole time. Yeah.
That's one of the great things with travel, isn't it? You get to see different environments, different cultures, different clusters of people with different expected thought beliefs of what is or isn't natural, is or isn't acceptable. And then you learn that we're all running these trained programs of acceptability.
Yeah, that's right. So one of the chapters that I'm really excited about sharing with everyone here is, because it has to do with problems, is a chapter called Don't Be a Half-Wit. Now, we're not talking about Jamie.
Should I leave in case I hear you?
Don't say anything, Amy, but yes.
I'll spin the colorful wheel.
Is it time? Is it time? No. Let me tell you about my chapter first. Okay, so this chapter is really geared toward helping people realize that, you know how we always talk about the right side of our brain and the left side of our brain? Well, most people think that in order to solve problems, you got to really hone in on that right side of your brain, right? You got to figure it out, come up with a solution. It requires thinking, deep, hard, heavy thinking. Well, in reality, most of the solutions to problems come from the left side of the brain, which is the area of creativity. And even better, what I talk about in my book is, instead of trying to figure it out with half a brain, both hemispheres of the brain work synergistically together. And when you do that, when you add in creative time, when you add in logical thinking time, when you brainstorm, when you do puzzles and mathematical problems, like when you combine all of these things together, it all works synergistically. And that's how you're able to come up with solutions to your obstacles, to your problems, so that now you can start to maneuver them effectively. I mean, imagine if you were doing an obstacle course, you wouldn't want to go through an obstacle course with just one leg. I mean, how much success would you have if you went through an obstacle course with just one leg? Well, it's the same with any issue or problem that you're experiencing in life. You don't want to go through as a half-wit, just trying to figure it out with half a brain. That's for dummies. Like, that's not smart. Go into each problem. And sometimes what that requires in order to activate that left side of your brain is just relax and do something creative. Play the piano, paint, Right.
Relax by taking up the piano. I tried the piano when I was 12. It's not an easy thing.
And maybe not for you, but it would be.
No, not for you, especially not for you, Jamie. But there are people who already play the piano, and for them, it's super relaxing. It's, them accessing their creative side. And, a lot of times people say, oh, I had that solution when I had a dream. Guess what?
Yes.
That's your subconscious working synergistically with both hemispheres of the brain to bring you these solutions. That's the creative side saying, hey, ding, 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 I've got something to tell you. Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah, so when you let that go, when you let go of because a lot of times you're just focused on the problem. And as soon as you do something creative, you're letting that problem go and you get into that other side of your brain. That's brilliant, Josevie. I love that.
Oh, thank you, Amy. And then that's what happens when you're allowing yourself to be creative and you're not just focusing on the problem, you're actually learning to flow.
I love it. Mm-hmm. I love it. That is fantastic. Really good stuff, Josevie. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Do you have an idea of when your book's going to come out?
It should be out this fall. Because it's all done. So I'm happy about that. So I'm just waiting for my publisher, and I have a second book that will be coming out in the next couple of weeks. So they'll both probably be coming out around the same time. The children's book will come out next year. So I'm super excited. If you're interested, thank you, Amy, for posting my website. You can go to my website. You can join the website for any updates. You can actually pre-order a copy of the book on my website as well. And and for everyone who goes to the website and purchases or pre-orders a copy of the book, which is coming out soon, you'll get a free coaching call with me that is worth over $1,500.
Oh, that's fantastic.
I used to say $500, but my prices have gone up.
Good girl. Yay. Yes.
Well, you also oversee a group of coaches as well.
Yeah. I not as much anymore because they're kind of all on their own now, which is good. They each have their own coaching program. I actually have that's coming up for me as well. I've just finished creating my own membership program. I'm excited to talk about that, but not yet. You'll have to stay tuned for that. It's almost done. I'm getting all the books out first so that everyone can read them and benefit from them and hopefully not walk around with half a brain, but just start, approaching life, just flowing and maneuvering through obstacles, expecting them and planning for them, preparing for them, and just getting through it.
That's awesome. Tracy was saying, I like the piano, except when my brother takes my photo without my knowledge while I was pretending to be Elton John.
I want to see that. I want to see that photo.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious. Yeah, I'd like to see it too. Awesome, Josevie. Yeah, Jamie was we were kind of having a long discussion the other day. We drove to Sedona Sunday. I know we did. It was so beautiful. But oh my gosh, I feel sorry for those in Arizona, man. I am not visiting Arizona until this is over. The fact that there's no mandated masks in the stores really freaked me out.
No. We have mandated masks in stores down here where I live, maybe not in Sedona.
Not in certain areas.
Not in the areas between here and Sedona that we stopped in for fuel or.
Yeah, like no one was wearing masks, and I'm like walking in like I'm the Karen with the mask, and I'm like, and I asked the guy, I was like, hey, is there a mask mandate here? He goes, no. And then the customers didn't have any masks. The guy behind the counter didn't have any masks. I'm like, no wonder they're having an issue here.
Yeah.
So, so then it was like, I wasn't comfortable going into places to use the bathroom. And it was like, but the hiking was beautiful. But anyway,
absolutely beautiful.
Gorgeous. So anyway, on the way back, we're kind of having this long discussion. It's like, is there a way you can create your life in such a way that you don't have the problems in the first place? And I think that's the key really is you can, if you're in the flow and then things are flowing, then it doesn't seem like a problem.
That's right.
It'll be a problem, but if you're really in that flow, it doesn't seem like a problem.
That's right. Absolutely. You must have read my book telepathically.
It's funny because we had this conversation. It was probably like an hour in the car, and we were like kind of like debating not debating, but just like, is it possible? Like, is it possible to really create your reality, create your life in such a way that there's no problems?
I mean,
or that you don't have as many problems.
You're going to come across obstacles one way or the other. It's just how do you view them? You know, if you're constantly viewing an obstacle as a negative that you have to fight all the time, then it becomes super stressful. But if you can learn how to just flow with it and just maneuver, you know, if you can't go through it, you can go above it, you can go around it, you can go underneath it. I mean, there's always a solution. Every problem has a solution. And oftentimes the solution could just be time. You know, that's a solution too. Right. And patience, you know, not having to have everything fixed right here, right now. See, that's part of flowing. You know, we can create our lives to be how we want them to be, but we don't have to create it all right here, right now. That causes the stress. And so when you come across obstacles, you're just like, this is in my way. I want this right now. It doesn't have to be that way.
Right. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Thoughts on that?
Come on, Jamie. I know you've got something.
How the situations that occur to us, how we perceive them, if it's an opportunity, we say, well, in the dialogues that we use for ourselves, like, well, the problem is blah, 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 or the opportunity is, or the challenge is, we can start to change the words we use, even when we talk about something. There was a phrase that I used to use when something could go wrong. I used to go, seriously? Like I would express an angst out into the universe with the word seriously. So I've got an emotional charge and a word that means things have to be serious. And then I changed it to joyfully. People are like, what? I'm like, humorously, laughingly. And it changed the situation very quickly. So now I go, joyfully. So I'm going to try to work. Is it joyfully? Is it? But I've stopped saying the word seriously. And so therefore the seriousness of the situations has changed because I'm the person who's putting that energy in with a law, with a command, with the words I use.
Plus, it's about your perception. You know, what one person considers a problem, another person considers it absolutely of no consequence at all. Piece of cake, you know? Right. I mean, you've seen somebody go, oh my gosh, I can't believe this. And another person's looking at them like, are you for real? This is no big deal. So see, it's about perception, you know? It's just how are we looking at things? You know, like you just said, Jamie, you know, what are we saying about the obstacles that come across our path?
Or the challenge.
And yeah.
And what are we thinking about it? And it's like, how are we thinking about it? Go ahead.
If you can see that there is an obstacle, if you can see that there is a problem or a situation or a challenge, then you have the mind to be able to deal with it. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to recognize that it's a situation or problem. You would just see it as a non-movable barrier. For example, if you came up to a wall and go, I got to try and get over this wall. And people go, wall? What do you mean? This is the end of the universe. No, it's just a wall. It's just taller than you've ever looked. Move back here, look up. Okay. I'm like, we lived our whole life thinking this was the end of the universe. You couldn't go past here. It's like, no, it was just a wall. I saw it as a wall, as a challenge, because I had the understanding and the ability to be able to get beyond that situation or problem. If you can see a problem or a situation in your life, you also have the knowledge, the skills, the ability, the circumstances to also go beyond it.
That's right. I agree.
Absolutely. Yeah. When the pandemic first hit, we had actually decided to quarantine before they had said to quarantine. But we were literally like, you too. I'm like, I don't know what's going on. I'm just going to stay home. And go ahead.
Well, when people kept saying pandemic, what I was hearing was pandamedic. And I was thinking of a doctor who was a panda. And I'm like, this is so cool. We've got a panda medic all over the world. Kung Fu Panda medic team.
Hey, your husband.
The first couple of weeks, I was in shock.
I could not find a panda anywhere, a panda medic anywhere.
Anyway, I was like really literally just walking around the house, just kind of in shock. Like I was just like, because I knew that this was going to change the world. I knew this was going to change us permanently. This wasn't going to be something that this was no little thing. I mean, they were like considering at that point. I mean, I think at that point, Seattle had already shut down, and California, like Seattle's that way, California's that way. California was starting to shut down, and the rest of the world was kind of talking about it. And it was just like, whoa. Yeah. And so, but we very quickly shifted. Okay, what can we do, and what can we do to help? And what we came up with, and one of the things that I'm starting to really look at is that when you are in chaos and when you are facing an obstacle, the other thing that you can do is to figure out who you can help. Because the minute you figure out who you can help in that situation, when your life is feeling like it's falling apart, it takes you out of your head and into your heart, and it gets you to stop thinking about all your problems. And so we ended up adopting a family in Uganda. I think I told you a little bit about it.
A family that happened to be in a village.
Of an entire
adopting the whole village, right?
That's the whole village. But what's really, really cool, so Florence is now my newest sister. She's amazing. We've been helping them since March. And we just helped her. So she was a restaurant owner. She's a single mom of 3. Her husband died. The little boy, a couple of years ago. A few years ago. And none of the kids have had a birthday since then. And so we were able to give Mark, the middle one, a birthday. So he had a big party, and it was really cute. He just turned 15. The littlest one, Kasaki, he's going to be 9 in October. And then the oldest one is 17 or 18. He's going to go into college. But she got her business. So she had a restaurant in Kampala. And so the government shut all businesses down in Kampala. And so she appreciates our help, but she really wants to do it herself. Yeah. So we just helped her open a new restaurant 3 days ago. She opened a new restaurant. Yeah, I'm so excited. And she's, she always is thanking us and blessing us and praying for us and everything, but she doesn't realize how much she's helped us. Yeah. And we keep trying to tell her that. And we also keep trying to tell her, because she was like, a text she sent me the other day just had me in tears. She said, I was going to bed crying every night, because my sons were asking, why is this happening? And they were going to bed hungry. And I was crying myself to sleep every night because they were asking me, Mom, why do I have to be hungry? And she says, I don't know what I would do. And she said, thank you so much for loving poor people. And I told her, you're not poor. I said, you're richer than anybody I know. And I said, you did this. You're the one that did this. You're the one that called out to the universe and screamed for help, and you got an answer. And that was all you. So we keep trying to put the power back to her. She's an amazing woman. I love this woman so much.
So are you going to share how everybody else can help too?
Oh yeah. I can I'll throw a link in I have to go find the link for the fundraiser, but yeah, we have a fundraiser. People can feel free to donate. We're coming out of pocket with it. We don't mind. She's their family. So it's, yeah. But yeah, anyway, so that was the other thing, was when you're really in chaos and you're really like stressed out, get creative and figure out who can you help. Even if it's just a phone call, it could be as simple as a phone call. Like some people, especially if they're by themselves, your friends right now might not be okay. Pick up a phone call and see how they're doing, right? So reach out, connection.
And here's another key to doing that is it puts you in a place of gratitude, because sometimes when you're helping other people and you're in a position to help other people, then you can start to see how thankful you should be that you're in that position to be able to help, because there's always somebody else who's worse off than us. So it really, and once you start coming from a place of gratitude, then everything around you starts to look different.
Yeah.
And you're also in that creative mindset that you were talking about earlier about possibility. Yeah. When you step into, well, how can I help somebody? I mean, I don't know what to do with my life right now, but how can I help somebody else? It takes you out of that negative spiral framework of what's going wrong in your life into how can I help, which switches that energy. So now that energy you were using to bring yourself down, you can use to lift somebody else up. And the very act of doing that resonates within you and you lift up as well. You can't be helping somebody from a heart space and be having negative thoughts about yourself at the same time.
Exactly.
Now, in the book, How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie, if you listen to the updated version, I forget who the guy was who did the excerpts. So he took what Dale Carnegie was teaching and he brought it to modern time, text messages, conference calls via Zoom, all that stuff. Well, one of the things that he talks about in that modern version of How to Win Friends and Influence People is the power of a smile, and how they actually did a study. That's right. See, we all started smiling. They actually did a study and they showed how people who are smilers tend to attract other smilers. And when you get groups of smilers, there's my group, then it actually widens out and non-smilers start to join and they become smilers. It's actually a proven thing.
Wow.
Yeah, smiling's very important. That's why when we started wearing masks, there was a lot of disconnect with people. So I drew a smile on my mask and I got
He
better.
did.
And my mask had a big smile. I looked like the Joker. And then the next mask that I got after that one wore out, when I purchased the mask for a more extended period of time, I got the emoji smile mask. So
but tell what happened with your friend.
So my friend saw the photo in Australia, and she works with a dementia and Alzheimer group of people, like a, what do you call that?
Like a house, like a home.
A place where they're all.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it's called. Like, I'm coming down with it.
No, like hospice.
Okay, there we go. There's a nice word. So,
he said there's a nice word.
I worked with people in a hospice. I did improv communication to bring more joy into the workplace up in Washington.
Yeah.
So what she did, she shared the fact that I put a smile on my little thing about how smiles, when you see a smile, you feel more comfortable, because the patients were getting freaked out by everyone wearing masks. And so there was a heightened emotional state that was negative in the realm of fear and concern. So all the nurses and everyone drew a smile on their face, and it went all the way right back down again. Everyone was happy, as if they were wearing masks again. Everyone was good. So it completely changed the aspect because people were seeing a smile. And Wayne Dwyer talked about this many years ago, about how if you see somebody smiling, you also get the benefits of if you were smiling. And there's an increase in your endorphins and your dopamine, your serotonin, and a drop in your cortisol. And just 5 minutes of laughing, or observing someone laughing, or thinking about laughing, actually, that is pretty funny. Even just 5 minutes of that has lasting effects for 4 to 5 hours in your body.
Amy, you're gonna live forever. You're never gonna be sick.
Oh my God. That's going to be part of his job from now on. Like, keep,
So are you guys going to give something away today?
Yeah, we are, but we haven't had anybody enter yet. So how can people enter on Facebook? Because we had changed it a little bit. Let's go ahead and do comments. And then also Layla's here. So Layla is our niece, and is she 7 or 8? She's 8.
7.
She's 7. She loves surprises. So there's something that we always do in our lives, and we'd love if you would join in. So on the count of 3, you're just going to yell surprise. Okay? You ready?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. Surprise! She loves that. She loves surprises.
It's energy. Look at that. We're all excited energy directed straight at Layla.
Straight at Layla. Welcome, Layla.
And anybody else that happened to be watching. I mean, I'm sure you were surprised by the countdown to surprise. That's right.
That's so
What would
funny.
have been surprising? We go, okay, on 3, we're going to say surprise. 1, 2, 3. Hippopotamus! Now that would have been a surprise.
That would have been a surprise. You're absolutely right. We should have planned that in advance.
We should have planned that surprise.
Yeah, and then said surprise afterwards.
Exactly.
A surprised hippopotamus.
That's
On
right.
roller skates.
Oh,
with
no.
blue umbrella.
Cool. Ronald's watching. Hi, Ronald. Rose is watching. Hi, Rose.
Hi, Rose.
We've got what happens when we share it to our own personal pages. People comment on there, and then I don't see the comments here.
Oh, they comment on the personal page?
Yeah. So I'm not seeing a lot of comments. That's what
Either.
Yeah. So I thought I would check it out. Check
it out.
Check it out. Yeah. So, anyway, so cool, Josevie. Thank you so much. I know you have an appointment.
And what's the title of your book again?
It's Thrive and Be Somebody, 11 Steps to Maneuver Life's Obstacles with Confidence.
Thrive and Be Somebody. And it's how to overcome, like it's specifically for entrepreneurs, but everybody's an entrepreneur in some element of their life, and everybody has problems. So this really sounds like it could be very beneficial to anybody.
Absolutely. I've had some test readers who are non-entrepreneurs, and they absolutely love it.
Oh,
So,
that's fantastic. That's
Yeah.
great. That's great. Yeah, it
you're
definitely
right.
different mindset to be an entrepreneur, and it definitely takes a different way of thinking, because most of us were raised with 9-to-5ers.
Well,
Yeah.
and being an entrepreneur can be a very lonely journey, because oftentimes the people around you don't understand what you're doing. Like, you guys have the benefit because you have each other, but oftentimes entrepreneurship is just a solo journey, and you're just, people think you're crazy. And that may be true.
Which is one of my favorite quotes. The Steve Jobs quote is, those that are crazy enough to think that they can change the world are the ones that usually do.
That's right.
Because they believe that they can.
Well, it goes with Henry T. Ford. If you believe you can or you believe you can't, you're right.
You're right.
So, okay, your turn for a quote. We've done the 2 big ones.
She's got
Quote
lots of-
Josevie Jackson. I'm sure you've got a couple of quotes in your
Oh
book.
my gosh, I've got so many quotes in my head. I can think of a ton of quotes.
That's awesome. That's awesome. That's
I'm
awesome.
thinking of Dr. Seuss quotes.
Well, one thing that we're getting a lot of questions here is, what is your favorite joke?
That is not a question.
Yeah, we got people typing in from all over the world. They
So,
want you to tell a joke.
anything that this guy says, or is it this guy?
It's
There
that-
you go.
That way.
This
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah.
Anything this guy says is a joke.
Oh my gosh. Josevie and I have been through so much. And she has a way of looking at Jamie that just stops him. And he's trying to pretend like he's frozen. But I'm gonna move so you know
The look, Jamie.
that he's the only one frozen. We'll be getting on a live and he'll be like, pretend like we're frozen, pretend like we're frozen. So we get on the live and we're both like,
It's great because people start talking thinking you can't hear them.
They know
Yeah,
you're-
you guys are awesome. Thank you for doing this show. I love it. Every time I get a chance to get on, I'm on here.
Oh, I know you've been a big supporter from the beginning. So Josevie, what's your favorite place
Joke.
that you've ever
Joke.
no, shush. What's the favorite place you've ever traveled to?
Joke Central.
Okay, I would absolutely have. Oh man, that's so hard, Amy.
I know, right? There's so many.
Favorite. Like, I loved it when I went to Greece. I loved Bali. I'm a beach girl, so I like
Girl too.
Hawaii. So I loved Hawaii so much I moved there. So Maui is kind of my favorite. It's a place that has spoken to my heart. So when I go there, I actually feel like it's my island. I know that's weird.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah.
Wow, it's awesome.
Yeah, it's my favorite place. I'm familiar. It's like home to me, even though I only lived there for 2.5 years. But
I fell in
Malaysia's nice.
too. What's that?
Everywhere. Malaysia's nice too.
Malaysia's nice too. Yeah.
There's so many
Yeah.
places. I don't think I could really pick one and just say, hey, if I had to live one place, it would probably be a deserted island out in the middle of anywhere.
Right?
Where I could just explore and like do survival stuff.
So Josevie and Jamie
on.
So Josevie and Jamie and I flew to England, and
Yes.
we sit there and we were exhausted, and then we had to go straight into meetings, and then we were starving. So we ate really quick, and then Josevie was the one, because I'm like, I'm going to bed. Josevie's like, Buckingham Palace is 5 minutes away. I'm like, we're going to bed. She's like, no, we're going to Buckingham Palace. I'm like, I'm so tired. She goes, you're going to regret it if you don't. So we jump in a cab. We get to Buckingham Palace. The guards are doing the changing of the guards just in time. Like literally we spent, 10 minutes there max? And jumped in the cab and went back. On Facebook, our lives looked really, really cool. But the reality was we literally were there for minutes.
The changing of the guards, I don't get that. I mean, because they say they're changing the guards, but they just replace them with more guards. Shouldn't they replace them with like a rabbit or a unicorn or something? Oh, we're changing the guards into unicorns.
I actually had a good time that night. Even though I was super tired, it was well worth it. We took tons of pictures. It was awesome. It was just fun. And I think it has to do with the company that you keep too. And I actually put that in my book as well. Association is crucial.
It is. Proximity. It's proximity. Yeah. You start hanging out with people that have different mindset. You start thinking differently, and then you hang out with somebody that doesn't have that mindset, and you're looking at look like them like, what the heck just happened?
Because it's the accepted consciousness of what reality is. And that's why, like, I've lived in different countries, and people go, well, this is normal. I'm like, what are you doing? And they're like, well, this is the normal way of life. And you're like, no, that's only normal for you and you guys in this country. Everywhere else around the world, and I'm looking at you, Japan, I'm looking at you right now. Everywhere else around the world, you fill the cup all the way to the top. This is not full.
And hey, I just want to welcome.
Come on.
I want to welcome Terry Williams. I want to welcome Ronald. I want to welcome Rose Good. She's my birth mom. And I want to welcome Ronald and Vincent and also Shirley.
Welcome,
everyone.
So I know you've got a meeting to get to. I want to go have time to breathe and grab yourself, I don't know, a cup of tea or a water or whatever. Thank you so much for joining us, Josevie. It is
my pleasure. Thank you.
Go to Josevie.com.
Josevie.com. Go check her out. Look at all the different things. Look at her book. Close enough there. Look like a matador with your little sword.
And I won't give her age, but she did mention that she was, 50 at one point. But she
many years ago.
But she gets hit on. She gets hit on everywhere we go together.
She doesn't reciprocate.
She doesn't respond. No. She doesn't. But people everywhere we go, people are just attracted to her. It's amazing. And it's not just like she's beautiful, but they're just attracted to who she is. It's really interesting. I was just thinking of that buffet where we went, and I told the guy that you were really famous, but don't tell me.
Oh my God. Right. I was like, what?
Yeah. He was on the down low.
He was all over it. He couldn't keep her eyes off of her. And I said, so I said, she's really famous. She'll never tell you, but she's really, really famous. So you can go to Josevie.com. She's a big deal, but she'll never admit it. So don't tell her I told you. And then he was just over the moon. Like he was following you everywhere.
Yeah, it'd be kind of embarrassing that you don't know who she is, but that's okay.
Yeah.
You're probably just not in that generation.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much, Josevie. You guys, you have a great night. Yep. And we'll talk to you really soon.
Thank you, guys. And thank you, everyone, for listening. I know we sound crazy, but I hope you got something out of it.
And Tracy says that she loves you. So she's definitely going to go to Josevie.com
and check out your book.
Check it out and look up that book.
Thank you, guys.
Have a good one.
How do I leave? Oh, I see it. The red.
We're going to kick you out.
There we go. She's like, how do I get out of here?
I've been in a room long enough with Jamie. I gotta get out.
I've had enough. All right, you guys, thank you so much for joining us. We don't have any winners tonight, but I don't know that we had a lot of entries on here. But we're gonna figure out a better way to do this, and we're gonna definitely have winners next week. So thank you guys all so much. We love you. We're gonna have more guests We're going to have guests every week. So we've got some big surprises coming. We'll be announcing them soon. So take care, and we will see you next time.